Welcome to this week's webisode, and every week we want to have brand new things for you. This week is no exception, but first I'd like to introduce you to Stan Rickard.
Hi there, I'm very excited to be here, and Paulette, you know Sarah has left some big shoes for me to fill.
She has. We're going to be doing some wonderful things on the webisodes. Now, in addition to doing the webisodes, Stan's real job is as a buyer for our catalog Paper Wishes.
That's right. I get to travel to all the trade shows, walking all the aisles and miles of aisles.
Oh, poor baby.
Searching for all the new product and the latest and greatest to bring back and share with you guys.
I think what's really neat is he gets to see everything first.
That is neat. That's the best part.
Well, speaking of first, what we have this week are 3D Dazzles.
These are something like you've never seen on the market before, and they'll bring some great dimension and uniqueness to your projects.
Well, great. So come play with us. Well, there are 5 different designs, and let's take a look.
And each of them come in gold and silver.
Right, and so let's see. Here's the Dragonflies, which we're going to start with. Now, they all have a green header, just like this. There's a card, but we're going to show you those cards.
And what's great about the packaging on these is at Hot Off the Press, we show ideas and examples of how to use all of our product.
Right, just beginning with it now, and we'll also tell you how many, like this Dragonfly has 43 pieces, so that's really nice. Okay, let's bring in some cards and see what we've got.
Here's the first one.
Okay, here is obviously the silver Dragonflies, and what's neat about them is that the center area is adhesive.
Right, Paulette, so you can just stick the center down and then you fluff up the wings so it looks like they're fluttering off the card.
Right, let me take one, let's see. We want to scoot that over?
Sure.
And let me show you. I'm going to take one.
What are these?
That's at the end. That's a surprise, okay? So when I lift this up, like I'm doing now, it's just peeling up, just as all the Dazzles do. But there are score lines right next to the body of the Dragonfly, and I know that's kind of hard to see, but trust me. So at this point, I can lift them up, or I can do that after they're on the card or my album page. And because there's adhesive just in the center, when I tuck that down, that little puppy stays.
So only the center sticks and not the wings.
Yeah, and you can see that it's a clear material, so there's a lot of silver, but you're also going to see, like you can see that teal color behind it.
So you could back them with a different color or a pattern.
Well, let's see what you've got on that card. Let's bring this one back.
This one back in.
Okay, well, I won't tell you about those secrets because that's at the end.
Let's look at those later.
And so you can see, let's get in really tight, and let me show you this one. So is this what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about with the pattern paper behind it.
Right. So, and you would do that just like you do all the Dazzles. So you would put it down on paper, kind of like what I did. You wouldn't lift them up, but you would bring in the scissors and just cut right next. Yeah, exactly. And okay, so and you can lift them just like I said, just like the score line. And you've got more.
I do have more. Let's take a look at the gold. Look at those.
So they're all available in gold and silver. And isn't that pretty?
Now look how they've done with this one. It's just a regular, what is that, Paulette, back there?
It's just a solid piece of paper. Yeah, I don't think that's been backed at all. And you can see the one on blue. You can kind of see that lift. The other thing on the sheet is that there are flowers. And each of the flowers, in fact, there's 2 here. They've been layered. And so you can also put them on paper or not.
And what I like about the flowers is some of them are clear on the edges, so when you back them, it'll show through.
Exactly. Same thing with the Dragonflies.
Yeah.
Now, we also have butterflies.
Look at these.
Isn't that pretty? This is a great example. So you can see it not backed. This one, let's get in really close. And so you can kind of see through it. There's a lot of silver in this case.
Yeah, it's a little translucent.
And there it is with the backing, so it really becomes dramatic.
With that glimmer, it's great.
Do you like that?
I do.
Now here is the gold, and kind of the same thing. You do get the balance of both flowers and butterflies in this case.
Let's look at these, Paulette. This one looks like they're stacked, like there's 2 on top of each other.
Exactly, and I think that's what's really neat is that, okay, I want to make sure you can see this, so let me lift it. So there are 2. There's one in the center. Good catch on that. So you can do both. You can also chalk the paper underneath. So if you wanted to just put paper under there, you could chalk it if that was your choice.
That's a great idea.
Now this one has several different It's got borders, which are not 3D.
Right.
So that's out of another set. But it's got flowers, which are sold separately as well, so you can see they're larger.
Right, and here's that clear that I was talking about here, where you can see through it.
I like that. And with the butterflies, you also get the antenna. Sometimes you have to draw those on things. There's the same thing like you were talking about.
That's great, another stacked one.
So going into flowers, did you like that segue? Is that good?
Like that.
Yeah, you noticed that? Okay, so here are the silver flowers. And let's get in close again. I like that tag on top.
I do. I like how they've used the rhinestones in the center.
Isn't that pretty?
Of those, yeah.
Also with the flowers, you get these long stems. So that's different. You didn't have that on the flowers that were with the dragonflies and the butterflies.
It was just borders.
Yeah. So here is another way that you can use them.
So you can create bouquets and different effects on your card.
Maybe we should see the whole card, huh? Let's back up for a second. Okay.
Now, Paulette, can these only be used on cards?
You know, that's a great thing. Absolutely, they can be used on anything. Let's bring out that scrapbook page.
Let's take a look at this page.
How fun. Let me scoot the things over so you don't see them. Let's get it. So here you have the great event. And this is on the flocked, our new flock papers.
Yeah, I feel that. It's
Isn't
nice.
that neat? Now, this is exactly what you're talking about, is to make a little bouquet.
Right, a little bouquet there in the corner.
And this is in the unused area of the photo, which absolutely, that's a great photo.
Yeah, it is.
And then also along the border. So we've got several things being stacked here, and then things being stacked upon them. There's a button on top.
There's a brad over on here.
Right, I see that. And then down here, we have...
Oh, they've used it as a center of a flower.
Yeah, way to go.
Really cute.
Now, we also have some more projects and some other ideas. So
Let's take a look at those.
With the flowers, how do you get a black flower?
I don't know, Paulette. How do you get a black flower?
That is with a StazOn.
Oh, really?
With a StazOn ink pad, and I thought that was so brilliant.
That's
Susan
a great
did this.
idea.
I would never have thought of, and I certainly wouldn't have thought of using a stem.
Right.
You know, I thought that was really
That black
neat.
is very striking.
Isn't that great? Here's another fun thing that Susan did, is she did the layering with the silk flower and put some little other pieces on
stars.
it. Yeah,
that's cute.
And here is just a really pretty, next to a photograph.
I like how they've used it as a flower in her hair.
Oh, you're right. It's right in her hair.
Yeah.
Oh, cute. And that's a couple of them.
Is that a brad or is that a, yeah, that's brad.
Yeah, right in top. Now, so we've talked about that we've got dragonflies, butterflies, flowers.
Flowers.
We also have
what other styles do we have?
Stars. There be
Look
stars.
at that.
And look how this ribbon has been woven through the star.
They've used it as a ribbon slide.
Yeah, because
isn't that unique?
Isn't that neat? And just to give you a couple of other ways to look, so here it is lifted, and it has smaller stars. So if we get in tight, can you see that? Let me lift it a little bit.
Yeah.
They're
stacked again.
Right, with some foam tape, and then along the edge.
Now, what is this here where this clear part is? Did they cut that out, or is that separate?
That's how it comes, and that's what enabled us to take the star and weave the ribbon through it.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of it's one piece, but you can lift it like that. In fact, the hearts work the same way. Let me lift this. So there's kind of like an outer and an inner,
right,
and then a middle.
So then if you wanted to, inner and a middle?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, then you could also slide a ribbon through that.
Or paper.
Or paper.
Or paper
right.
through it. Now, you asked me about something.
Let's get back to that.
Okay.
What else is that?
This is the area that is left after you've lifted the Dazzle up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so.
How do you get that?
How do you do that?
How do you do that?
Well, let's go back. This is the one that I lifted off, so now it's empty. Now I can go back in with my scissors and cut right along that edge.
Okay.
And lift it up.
And then you've got an outline.
I've got an outline.
Or an outie.
An outie, you're right. So there's just a look of each of them. Now, when you get these, there may not be quite as much adhesive, so you may need to put down a little bit.
Right.
But I thought that was really neat.
That is a very neat idea.
And in answer to your question about do you just have to do cards, how about a little Sarah Service?
Look at that. That's very cute.
Isn't that sweet?
And so simple just to cover it with a little bit of paper.
Just to cover the flap. And of course, this is the foil, which, you know, I love the foil with the Dazzles. And I would have thought before using it, it would be too much shine.
Yeah, no, they really play well together.
Yeah, and then speaking of playing well together, here's our last card. So.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So I think 3D Dazzles are kind of it.
I think they're great.